The Push for More podcast.
We are broadcasting from the beautiful Tranquility Center, and today we are interviewing Chris Rives. Chris, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Great. Thank you for being here. It's a tremendous honor to have you on with Voices of Hope and all that you do, and we're looking forward to learning about you. How are you doing today?
It's a good day. Every day above ground's a good day.
Absolutely.
Right.
I feel the same way. Can you tell me a brief history of your background and story in a thumbnail sketch? Just basically your background, how you grew up, that kind of stuff.
Grew up in Anne Arundel County in Severna Park. That area has a lot of money. We didn't, but my dad was a salesman for General Electric. Played high school football, baseball. Was an athlete. Regular family lifestyle. Good families. Support pretty much. And then my parents ended up getting divorced when I was, 14. That kind of threw me a little off track. I had to help out around the house a little bit more than expected for a 14-year-old kid or 15-year-old kid, and ended up falling a little bit down the wrong path. Started selling some marijuana to help the finances situation. My dad had split. My mom had to go back to work, and it was four kids, at home with no home parent all day long. So my oldest sister ended up being mom. I mean, it was all good. We made it through. But like I said, I started selling marijuana and went down the wrong path a little bit. Started making a lot of money and ended up getting caught doing it when I was in my early to mid 20s. Did a year in jail or 10 months in jail. It was Anne Arundel County Detention Center. Taught me a lot. When I got out, I said, I definitely don't ever want to go back. I had already finished 2 years of college before I went to the detention center. So when I got out, I moved away. I moved to Baltimore City, which doesn't sound like a big move, but I didn't know anybody there. So I was able to kind of reinvent myself. And I just Chris, the guy going to University of Baltimore that worked in the restaurant business. And I finished out my degree and never looked back. And that was pretty much my growing up experience.
What was your degree in, Chris?
I got my degree in, it's business, but concentration was in marketing.
Okay.
Yep.
You went to school, you went through all those hardships and did that growing up. What inspired you to keep going after the incarceration? What was your passion to get going again after having that happen to you?
Well, I mean, if you spend 10 months incarcerated, there's the recidivism rate people going back to jail when they get out is pretty high. I just wasn't going to let that happen to myself. I decided the only way to do that was to separate myself from it's kind of like they say about alcoholism and drugs. You got to separate yourself from the people, places, and things that you know. If I would have stayed in Severna Park, the same people, same places, I would have done the same things. No doubt about it. So I had to move away, and I just was motivated to not live that life, not get in trouble again, and that's what I did. Yeah,
It's very commendable that you went through that and you changed your life for the better. Now you work, fast forward, for the Voices of Hope. Can you tell us a little bit about the Voices of Hope and what they do and how you're connected to that and how you're passionate about what you do there?
So after I graduated college, I went into sales. I was in sales for 27 years in the electrical sign industry. And I met the executive director of Voices of Hope in January of 2023 at a networking event. Prior to that, I lost my daughter to an overdose in January of 2012. She was 3 weeks before her 21st birthday. And so when she passed, I didn't know what to do. It took me about a year to get my head wrapped around it. And then I started raising money for a different nonprofit. And I just was putting on softball-themed events because that was one of my daughter's passions. And she also loved music. She sang in the 2008 opening ceremony for the Olympics in Beijing, China.
No kidding.
No kidding. We had to send her over there. I remember the $4,000 payment, but I'm sure she remembers being in China. But yeah, we sent her over there. So her passions were singing and softball.
Mm-hmm.
So then she got connected with some wannabe rock star with a habit, and we lost her a couple years later. But so I raised some money for a different nonprofit organization, and I did that for 4 or 5 years. And it was, it was the right thing to do just to help out somehow. I didn't know what I was doing. I have the ability to bring people together and to raise money. So I did it. And then I got out of it for a couple of years. And then in 2003, 2023, I met the executive director of Voices of Hope. Her name's Jennifer Turk at a Coffee and Connections. It's a networking event in Harford County. And I told her my story, and she's like, I want you to work for me. I'm like, whatever that means. I didn't have any idea what I was, I really didn't. It was like just, so she said, why don't you join our board of directors and see if you like, what you see. And sure enough, I joined the board of directors, and we had a live music rock and roll for recovery event, which was in May of 2023. And she said, if you can have this thing make money, and you only had 2.5 months to set it up, if you can make this thing make money, I'm hiring you. So it made money. We only made a couple thousand the first year, but it made money. And she offered me a position. I was fortunate enough at the time to be able to pay off all my debt and take a lower paying job, I guess you would call it, but it's something that I care about. I get to help people every day.
Awesome. And at the Push for More here, we have mentors, inspirational speakers, and recreational activities for youth ages 9 to 17. Can you tell me or give me an example of how maybe a mentor could have helped you when you were younger?
I wish I had one. When my dad moved away or separated from my mom, and my older brother and I and my sister were kind of on our own, and I didn't really have a mentor. I've never been the kind of person that really listened pretty much to anyone. I pretty much just do my own thing and make it work or not work. In that situation, I got in trouble, but a mentor would have definitely been beneficial to me if I had somebody that was pointing me in the right direction, guiding me a little bit, giving me tips. And I was a very good athlete. I was very fast. I ran a 4.55 40 when I was a senior in high school. I was, who knows what could have happened if I would have gone the opposite direction. So I thoroughly believe in mentorship, and it would have helped me a lot for sure.
We talked a little bit off camera, and you said you have an entrepreneurial spirit. It sounded like you're looking into doing some things on your own. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Sure. I already have owned a company. I was working for different sign companies from 96 or 7 to 2015. And at that time is when I opened up my own company. We were very successful. We went from selling $800,000 a year the first year to $3 million a year in 5 years. All storefront, mainly electrical signage and banners and just all types of signage. I was able to sell my partnership in that company. That's how I had the money to pay off my debt and work for Voices of Hope. I do have some plans to possibly open up a networking company. I have some musicians that I know. I know a lot of musicians in the Harford County area, and a few of them want me to be their booking agent. So I might be opening a booking agency for acoustical and local musicians. And yeah, I like to make my own ticket. I did work a short period of time in corporate America, and that's not for me. Yeah. I can't do the corporate brown nosing. That doesn't go with my personality.
It doesn't resonate with me either.
Right.
So the other thing I wanted to say is that the Push for More is going to have some workshops this summer.
Okay.
And one of the things that we're going to do is have an entrepreneurial workshop where the youth have to come up with a solution to a problem within the community.
Very cool.
Okay, yeah, it's going to be a 5-week course, and folks like you would help the kids, navigate through the workshop.
Very cool.
So, yeah, we're looking forward to that. If you could give today's youth a piece of advice, what would it be?
Work hard and keep your nose clean.
Okay.
Yep.
Short and sweet.
Short and sweet. It's nothing's given to you in this world. You got to get it. You got to go get it. It's not, I guess some people get lucky and, get an inheritance and whatever, but 95% of us are out there working for it every day, and work hard and keep your nose clean and focus and try to do something you're passionate about if you can.
You mentioned that you do a lot of networking. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So when I got hired for Voices of Hope, just to give you a little background on what Voices of Hope does, we're a recovery community organization. We help people get into and maintain long-term recovery from substance use. One of the coolest points about Voices of Hope is we have about 60 employees now, so we're not a small organization. And almost all of our employees, I'd say 56, 57 of our employees have at least a year clean. So we help you while you're struggling. Then we help you get into a detox facility. We help you get into a 30-day facility. We help you get into a recovery house. We'll help you find a job. We'll help you get your driver's license back, get your kids back, and all that stuff. And then work all the way around the circle. We'll even hire you after you get a year clean. So it's a really cool organization. When I met him, I said if this organization was around when my daughter was around, she might still be on the planet. I mean, we distribute Narcan, we distribute wound care kits, we have all different types of programs that help people while they're struggling, and then after they get clean, we'll even give you a job. When they hired me, I was more of an advocacy role where I would go to government functions and networking events and just speak on behalf of the nonprofit, trying to get people to buy into what we do. It's kind of morphed more into business to business, little bit of fundraising and business-to-business advocacy. So I get other businesses to do Narcan trainings and to hire people that are in recovery and just different types of things. And it's developed into where I go to literally, when I kid you not, I've already been to, tonight will be 16 networking events this year. So I usually go to 2 to 3 a week, sometimes more. It'll average out to around 200 events a year by the end of the year. And it's just going to these events and meeting people and telling people what we do, how we do it, why we do it, and it's turned into a really good thing for Voices of Hope and for me personally. I've met so many amazing people. I've developed really like true friendships of these people that I've been networking with now for a year. Some of these people I'll go out to dinner with now and just go play virtual golf with them or whatever. It's not all about business or all about Voices of Hope anymore. It's become almost like a little family. So it's really been beneficial to me. The networking, if I open my own networking company, it's going to be based on that same concept, friendship first. I have a really big group that meets up in Cecil County every Tuesday morning that I started. We had 63 people there on a Tuesday morning last week. It was like insanity.
Yes.
We just have a good time. People look forward to coming to the meeting. It's not like effort. They're getting up and having coffee with friends. And networking is it's been very beneficial to me and to the organization I work for. So it's worked out really well.
Okay. You talked about the recovery and how you lead them through the process.
Yep.
Can you, without giving any kind of in particulars about a person's personal information, but maybe just talk about how it affects you to see somebody grow through that program and become successful and become back to society in a good manner?
It's extremely gratifying. It's tear-jerking. On the second day of my job, the very second day when I actually started working, not board of directors, but the second day I went to work for them, I went on what we call a harm reduction walk, which is literally backpacks on, filled with Narcan, wound care kits, and some other supplies that struggling people need. And we walk through troubled neighborhoods and give the stuff to participants, is what we call them, struggling individuals. And second day, I'm walking through a very troubled neighborhood in Cecil County called the Manor. That's what we call it. It's Elkton Manor, I think, or something, but we call it the Manor. And this young couple comes up to us and says, "I'm sick of being sick. I'm tired of being tired." They had pets. They had a couple of pets, and they're like, they want to get into treatment. And I was, first of all, I was floored. Anyway, the whole day was mind-boggling. But then this young couple comes up to us and says all this stuff, and I'm thinking, okay, well, let's see what happens. The very next day, that couple is in my office and getting driven to a detox facility. I mean, that was just like, wow.
Yes.
So I was hooked. And that's, again, when I took the job, I said, if I can help one family not go through the crap that I had to go through then I'm doing something good. I'm kind of keeping her alive by doing this. So it's very gratifying. It's extremely gratifying.
Yeah, it's life-changing, I guess, huh?
Life-changing, yeah, I guess it's a good word for it. I mean, it just makes you feel good about what you do. I'm very fortunate to be able to do it because I wouldn't have been if I couldn't have paid off all my debt. I couldn't afford to live. I couldn't afford to work and afford normal life off of, I don't make crappy money, but I don't make a lot of money either.
Yes.
You know, so yeah, I got really lucky. I got really lucky.
Okay, we're going to wrap it up and just some closing comments. I really appreciate you coming in here today. We had some schedule intricacies, but we worked them out. And it's well worth you coming in here. I appreciate your backstory and everything that you went into and having the fortitude to talk about things that a lot of people don't talk about. And that we appreciate that, and we thank you for doing that.
Yeah, we believe at Voices of Hope and in general. I think recover out loud, talk about it, let other people know, and that's the way that it works. So thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in to the Push for More podcast. To join our mentor network or appear on the podcast, feel free to reach out to us at thepushformore.com.
And if you have the means, please consider making a tax-deductible contribution to help support our mission.
Also, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
Every little bit helps us push forward.